Sometimes one encouraging word or one encouraging person can change the course of a life. It happened this fall at St. Mary's High School on the South Side. With the help of photographer Randy Schwenkert, we give you our spotlight story. On the surface, it just seems like he's a kid having fun kicking field goals. But there's a whole lot more to the story of St. Mary's High School freshman Henry Koenen.
Initially, we were filled with fear. We didn't know what was going to happen.
What happened was Henry was born with a fibular deficiency. It's a rare congenital condition which occurs in about 1 in every 40,000 births. Part of the fibula is missing. Left untreated, there would be a 6-inch difference in the size of Henry's 2 legs. This 15-year-old has already had to endure 6 surgeries.
During the recoveries and all that, it was pretty frustrating and I kind of got angry with myself just because I couldn't really do much.
Once we got to Cardinal Glennon and the team wrapped around us and they gave us a trajectory and it's sort of an understanding of a plan, that was very helpful. We knew it would be hard, we knew it would be work, but we knew it was doable.
After all those surgeries of lengthening the leg and doing physical therapy, Henry was basically cured. And then this man entered Henry's life, Joe Green, Henry's gym teacher at St. Mary's.
When we're playing, flag football or whatnot, and so I always have kids do the warm-ups and exercises before we get into it. And so Henry was always first getting done, and so he would go out, grab a football, and he would stick it into the turf and just start kicking the ball. And so I noticed as the other kids are steady kind of finishing, this kid is really going at it,
After a couple of days doing it, then he started noticing it, and he said the kicks are looking pretty good, and then I felt pretty good.
Say, why don't you go out for football? And it was a little past the time, of course, so I suggested to him. He said, well, is it too late? I said, well, no. I said, we'll go call Coach Brooks, ask and see, if it's okay.
Chris Brooks in the sunglasses is a former NFL player who coaches the junior varsity.
Kind of looked at the schedule it is, we've already got started, but Henry came in and he asked if he could play. I told him yes, and I just told him he needed a physical. He probably got the physical as fast as I've ever seen a kid. And the next day we were out here kicking.
Henry kicked field goals and extra points for the JV this year. He booted a 35-yarder in practice, and he's made 15 in a row from 20 yards away.
The sky's the limit. Henry's really taken up on himself, and his family to get training and do everything just like any other athlete.
Not many of those athletes have had to go through what Henry has. Who knows how things would have turned out differently if it were not for one coach being encouraging.
For an athletic man to recognize something in your son, just like a spark of potential, and to encourage him and foster that and help grow that, that is the story to me. That's the gift.
One of the biggest reasons why I stay in education in the first place, even coaching and mentoring young people, just the driving force for me, and to know that my few words of encouragement lit this fire in him. It does a lot for me.
That right leg of Henry Koenen was once his biggest curse and is now turned into his greatest blessing.
But I was totally surprised, and the coach looked at me and said, we can teach a kid to kick. We can't teach a kid what Henry has. And that is perseverance, grit, determination, coachability.